I just wonder, on a quick side thought, how maybe the riddle that the Sadducees presented Jesus in today's gospel is based off of today's first reading of Tobit. Okay, so just quickly here, because I know I can get carried away here. Tobit, the setting of Tobit is the Assyrian exile. So that was the first exile of Israel that conquered most of the northern kingdom. And Tobit is one of the later works in the Old Testament, part of the Deuterocanonical books. That means those are one of the 7 books that belongs in the Catholic Bible, but not in the Protestant Bible. So if you ever pick up a Bible and you notice it's a little bit lighter, it's because it's the Protestant one. It's missing 7 books. Again, there's a whole story into that, which I'm not going to say to right now. But Tobit is in exile. He's living in Nineveh. And one of the things that he did was, again, he's trying to uphold the law and uphold the tradition. And that's really what the whole book of Tobit is all about. Upholding the traditions, upholding the faith of our fathers, starting with Abraham. And so Tobit was doing that by this practice of burying the dead, because the Assyrians would just leave the deceased bodies out for the birds to consume. And Tobit was burying them. So what happened one night was some birds came along and did to Tobit's eyes what they do to our windshields, okay? And it made him blind. And again, I told the Ashland people yesterday that the reason for that probably was, the significance is that was like the Assyrian gods punishing him for taking away their food by burying the dead. So we begin with today's first reading with Tobit suffering greatly because of this. And so we get this long lament prayer, okay, for Tobit wishing death upon himself because the sufferings are too great. And then we're introduced to a lady by the name of Sarah, who, again, probably based off the Sadducees' riddle to Jesus, married 7 times. Each of her husbands died before they're able to consummate the marriage, therefore making her childless. And back then, being childless was like a great tragedy. Today, having children is a curse. But back then, it was considered a tragedy, And so we also get her prayer because she wishes death upon herself. She wants to commit suicide. And so both characters today, and again, they're mentioned today because they're going to come together, okay, as we continue on through Tobit. What do we do when we feel like this? And I know as I meet and encounter the elderly, and the older people, but maybe we felt like this ourselves, that as they get older and as their physical body deteriorates and maybe their mental capacity deteriorates, and as they watch their family and their friends all die around them, and as they hit that age of 90 and 100, like maybe half of you is out here, okay, oh boy, all right, what did they often tell me? Father, why doesn't God just take me now? And again, maybe you felt like that at some point, okay? And that's how bad of a state of mind these 2 figures of Tobit and Sarah are feeling right now. Their suffering is overwhelming. So what do? They find somewhere deep within their hearts to reach out to God in prayer. And they know that God is listening and that God is concerned. And that God in his mysterious ways will come through for them. Because he's a God who keeps his word. And we also got to define what being okay means. Okay, that's also very important. We ask to be fine. We ask to be relieved of our sufferings. And sometimes it's going to look differently than what we would wish it would be. Sometimes we ask for God's blessings by having that physical suffering taken away, but it never goes away. But it doesn't mean that God doesn't care. Because again, what Tobit is kind of starting to discover, and again, which the Old Testament hasn't figured out yet, there's also this idea, this mentality, for example, of, what is life after death? Is there some source of salvation after death? Or is death the final end of all? And again, we're going to see in the Gospels, and as we know very well, that Jesus has something to say about the afterlife. Talking and trying to solve that riddle by the Sadducees about, life after death, there's no marriage or given in marriage, but they are in the hands of the angels, and that he is the God of the living and the dead. So we know that suffering is a way in which we reach out to God, the way that God answers our prayers, but also a reminder that, God will take care of us. If not now, most especially the point after death. Okay, God bless you.